Hello guys, and welcome back to another science lesson. I am here at Zoo Montana again, and today we're going to be looking at the standard 3.ls.3. I can construct an argument with evidence that in a particular habitat, some organisms can survive well, some survive less well, and some cannot survive at all. So this is thinking about where animals live, and all of the things about where they live, what the weather's like, what the food's like, every part of that environment is what we're talking about here. So I kind of wanted to talk about Zoo Montana a little bit and kind of talk about how unique it is. So here at Zoo Montana, they call themselves a 45th parallel zoo. So that means every single animal that you're gonna find at Zoo Montana lives at the 45th parallel or north. If you have a map or a globe and you look at it, we'd be looking at lines of latitude, and we'd be finding the 45-degree north. We'd look at that line and we'd look at it across the entire world, and above, all of the animals here at Zoo Montana can survive in that environment. And that kind of has to do with a lot of things. First of all, the cost of keeping animals in zoos is pretty high. And the zoo here wants to make sure that animals have the best and most natural life and environment that they can live in. And so being able to allow them outdoor access, even when it's winter, is something that's really important. So we can do that with animals that can survive in that 45th parallel or above. So I wanted to take this standard about habitats and animals surviving and kind of the zoo's mission and talk about a little bit more exotic of an animal. So if you guys can see, we are right here at the red panda exhibit, and these guys are so cute. If you can see one right there munching on some bamboo. And then we have one up here in their little tree house just hanging out. So the cool thing about red pandas is they seem really exotic to us. Chances are, 100% chance in Wyoming you haven't seen a wild red panda. That's because these animals come from China, mountains in Nepal, and just more Asian areas. We don't have them living here. But if we were to pull out our map and we were able to follow that 45th parallel, we would know that these animals live in the 45th parallel or above. So I kind of want you guys to pause and think to yourself about what that looks like. So right now here, I'm sitting in Montana. You guys are gonna be in Wyoming. It's pretty safe to say that our climate is comparable. We get winter, it's cold, there's a lot of snow, but now we're thinking about where these pandas live, in China. What can we assume or infer from our knowledge about the different climate zones? What environments and climate are these pandas used to? I want you guys to take a second and think about that to yourselves. Okay, now that you thought about that, we switched angles just so you could see how cute these guys are. Look at them eating. Oh my gosh, it is so adorable. So after you're thinking about that, the reason that these animals, the red pandas, are able to survive in our environment is because it's comparable to the environment that they're typically used to. So they can survive the cold weather, the long winters and stuff like that, because even where they're from in China and the mountains of Nepal is fairly similar. So we know that even though they're not in their typical homeland, they're in that environment and they're able to live in that environment because that's just kind of what they're used to as animals. And I just wanted to take a quick second and throw a little social studies, I don't even know what to call it, bonus question in there for you. So right now we are kind of in a crazy time in our world with everything that's happening, obviously because I'm doing these videos for you guys, but it's impacting a lot more than just our ability to go to school. It's impacting the ability to ship things across oceans, across seas, and across country lines. So I want you to think about how us not being able to get something from China might impact our friends right here. So just like think about logging on to Amazon, and if you wanted to order something from China, you might not be able to get it right now. What might our red pandas need to order from China that they need? And how does something like a sickness impact zoo animals? Take a second and just think to yourself about that. So during the summer months, we're actually able to grow bamboo right here at the zoo and feed them fresh bamboo. But during some of the climates or the weather, when it's colder, we can't grow bamboo and we actually have to order that in from China. So isn't it crazy how something like the coronavirus can impact zoo animals too? I don't want you guys to worry. The zoo animals are well taken care of and we have plenty of bamboo to get them through this, but it's just something to think about. I also want you to critically think, what's a solution you might be able to come up with? Right now, these animals are out of their typical environment. They don't have access to wild bamboo. What's a solution we could come up with to how to feed these red pandas bamboo? Just think about it to yourself. Okay, like I said, the standard we're working on today is talking about animals or organisms surviving in different environments. So unfortunately, we don't have a giraffe here at Zoo Montana because they're used to living in warmer environments, not like the 45th parallel and above. So I have some questions for you guys to think about a giraffe living here and how it might impact them. So I want you guys to think about the weather. What is this giraffe gonna do to stay warm? What would their fur look any different? Would any part of their body look different? Also, let's think about colors again. Would they blend in with our environment, or were they designed to kind of survive better in a more African safari environment? I also want you to think about what giraffes might eat. Basically anything for survival, what their prey might be. Things would look a lot different. So think about bringing a giraffe to Wyoming and what would a giraffe do in Wyoming to survive? This might require a little bit of outside research, so you might have to Google what giraffes even eat now and what we have around here that might be comparable. You might have to Google where they sleep at night and figure out where they would sleep at night here. So I want you guys to do some research, be creative, and really think about how different environments impact the animals that are there and the animals that it can support.